All right, Jessica Mangum is here in the studio, psychic medium. Today, she's going to read to you with her cards what's happening in your future for 2025. We have her drop in for just a little while. We'll do one round of calls for our audience here, and then we'll remind you where Jessica's going to be so you can go stop by and say hi to her on December 7th. But this is Marty. Good morning, Marty.
Hey, how are you?
Good. You're on with Jessica Mangum, psychic medium, on Mangum Monday. What do you got?
I'm just curious on if I have 5 kids, and we're all into an uproar right now because one of the siblings likes to stir the pot. So I'm just wondering if we're going to come together and knock all this nonsense off.
Aw, well, I'm giving you a hug. I've got, 3 kids. One that's at home right now. It's a lot. It's a lot to handle just to begin with. I can't imagine 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're grown. They're from 28 to 20.
Yeah, that's called a litter. Once you get over 4, you have a litter of kids.
Stop.
Yes, and I have 6 grandbabies.
Aw,
That is a
congratulations.
Big holidays at your house.
And I just moved into a shoe. Okay. Good Mother Goose
Don't
joke.
tell us you have like 12 animals, okay?
No animals.
Okay.
That's me.
All right. So, Marty, what was your specific question for Jessica?
Are me and my kids going to come to an agreement and have the love that we once had?
Okay. Will
Yes,
there be
you
family
are.
closeness again?
You are. There's going to have to be some conversations, though. So, central right now is you're the centered part of the wheel. And so you're keeping everybody together, and there are going to be some conversations. I can see that in the future. There's the card that's there is the 5 of Wands in my deck. That means that there's going to be conflict, but it will be resolved in a way that is helpful for all of you. So I think the most important card here is what's called a major arcana. It's the Hanged Man. It does not mean that someone's going to hang.
Okay.
It means that there's a new shifting perspective. I'll hold it up for the camera. It's one of my favorites. There's a rainbow in it. There's a lot of looking at things from a different angle. And with the one that's stirring the pot, because we all have a family member, maybe not all, but a lot of us have a family member or friend that does that. You just have to, if you can, visualize this person as God or the universe would see them, like the creator, whatever you want to call that energy, in this place of light. If you can visualize that as the center spokes of the wheel, that will help heal a lot of this discordance that you have going on. So there will be conflict, but the conflict will come to resolution. Your ancestors are very much with you. There's the love card in your ancestor. Yeah, and your family. So there you got support.
Thanks, Marty.
From that angle.
That's good. That's good. So, yeah, she just has to kind of face it, and then she'll have resolution. A lot of times we don't want to face it.
Well, she's had conversations. It has to be very, very calm.
Okay.
She has to really process it first and then have a conversation.
Jessica Mangum, psychic medium, you are on. This is Anonymous. She wants to know her marital status for 2025. Good morning, Anonymous.
Ooh.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I've been contemplating for probably longer than I've actually been married. It's not simple. It's not as simple. I mean, I know a lot of people think, oh, it's marriage and divorce. You either do it or you don't.
Right.
I have a very complicated situation, and I don't know if I just stick it out and deal with it. I mean, it's not like horrible or anything. It's
All right. Well,
You're unhappy.
It's not healthy.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
The cards are going to do the talking, Anonymous.
Okay. So in the mind space, there's a lot of emotional stuff tied to this. And it feels like, there's a lot. It feels like a spider web, but like a twisted spider web. There's a lot going on. In the center, you have a lot of strength. That's what they're pronouncing right here. It's the strength card. And that is in the position of how you see yourself and kind of where you are right now. That being said, the opportunity card is about money, material things. And what I'm getting is that it's like there's a lot of money, material things associated with that's kind of keeping you from making this decision. But all things considered, you have a choice. There's a contract in the future. It's interesting because Bridget of Ireland's showing up, which tells me too that you're kind of a healer. But that being said, this is all part of a contract, and you're going to come to grips with your utmost truth so that you can have conversations with people, and they may or may not understand. I can see there's a lot of judgment. I don't know if that's the right word surrounding this, but yeah. And then, yeah.
So it's
can feel
interesting. You're talking about the contract or like the like money or things of needs.
Yes.
I mean, Anonymous, are you in a relationship or are you in this marriage and you're afraid to get out of it because you're afraid maybe financially it'll be a struggle for you?
Look at you interpreting.
I mean, I've done the radio show for a long time.
When she said that, it made a lot of sense. Yes, there's a lot of things that would drastically change. And
Sure.
Yeah, they would.
It would be a very complicated.
Yep.
Okay.
That's showing up oddly in your ancestry. There's, let me add a card to this so I can see. In your ancestry, there's a lot of emotional stuff, meaning like your family, like your mom's side ancestry is what's coming to the forefront. And I want to keep it brief because we're on the radio, right? But at the same time, I want to clarify. This emotional upset that's going to happen with the people surrounding this decision that you're going to make may be just part of what you have to do in order for you to serve what's in your best interest. It's like if you're happy on the inside and you are at peace because you're not being, they're showing me a doormat. You're not being, what's the word, respected or like taken seriously?
Yeah, she's being a doormat. She's being walked on.
Yeah. Then you're stepping into your power. So do you see where I'm going with all this?
Yes.
Okay. So write about it. And then come see me on the 7th of December.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Anonymous. You know, when you mentioned like you see a lot of money or like finances or something like that, it reminds me of like a guy who might be in a relationship and knows that maybe it's over.
Yeah.
And he's saying, well, let me buy you a new car. Let me buy you a ring. Let me buy you a tennis bracelet. Like, let me keep you in my life and let's stay married because of my financial needs. And let's just keep Band-Aiding what the real issue is, you know? That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, there's a lot of band-aiding. I can see, see with her, it's, I can see why she's saying it's complicated. It's funny how much I want to express on the air.
Well, we want to say thanks to Jessica Mangum for dropping by. Mangum Monday. She says 2025 looks much better.
Yes.
Did a couple readings for Kelsey and Wendy and everyone else who we didn't get to today. December 7th at Sanctuary Imports in Plaza Midwood. It's the Yuletide Psychic Fair hosted by our Loren.
I'm not. I don't think.
You guys can't afford the rent's fee.
I wish I had the gift. I do not have the gift.
The Yuletide Psychic Fair, doors open at 11:30. First come, first serve. Readings from 12 to 6. Jess's readings are for 18 minutes, and you can get down there and get a real serious reading from, and a longer reading than you could on the radio.
Yeah.
And you're going to be there with a bunch of other psychics as well?
I will, and healers.
Very cool.
And books and crystals and beautiful things.
Go see our friend, Maney and Loren Morning Show's very own Jessica Mangum, December 7th at Sanctuary Imports in Plaza Midwood. Thank you, Jess, for dropping by on a Mangum Monday. Did you have fun at our get-together the other night at the Maney house, by the way?
I did, yes. And there was quite the platter there.
Oh, my gosh. Loren made a small, quote-unquote, charcuterie board.
It was like 3 feet by 3 feet.
It wasn't that big, was it?
There was a ton of food there. Yeah. She thought the Mangum football team was coming.
That's it.
But no, it was good. It was a good time. I love meeting your husband, Chad.
Yeah.
Hanging out and having good conversation. So anyway, Jessica Mangum, thank you so much. JessicaMangum.com.
Yes.
For more information.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Jess. So psychic medium Jessica Mangum in the studio. We call it Mangum Monday. Mm-hmm. And Jess came in and gave some readings to people on what their 2025 looks like. And she says overall 2025 is going to be a little bit better than 2024.
Love that for us.
Maybe not so many drastic issues.
Not as much drama.
You came in on Halloween when the veil between the living and the dead is the thinnest, the most Hallows of Eve. How's that for a setup? But we had several people contact you that day, and you did readings for people on the other side, including one guy. One woman said that her ex-husband had passed away, but she didn't believe the reason why.
Yeah.
And you confirmed the reason why for them.
Yes.
And
I'm careful how I say it too. You gotta be careful how you.
Yep. And not that we want to drum up old feelings and stuff, but
we can burn them. We can burn it.
But that kind of hung out with you for a little bit, which is so interesting as somebody who's not psychic to understand that, like, you know, Jessica started feeling a hurt in her stomach.
I was going to say you feel it.
Yeah. So there are a lot of different gifts associated with the energy fields, and I'm not going to get into chakras and all that, but that's a root chakra, so at the base of the spine area, gift where you can physically feel people's stuff. So a lot of nurses have this, a lot of doctors, a lot of people who are medical intuitives. And I had to learn that I actually had it too. It's like you hold, for example, a crystal, and you can feel the energy from that. So when she called in and I felt this, I thought I was going to throw up.
Oh, yeah. So Jessica, like behind the scenes, she goes, I got to run to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And we went to commercial.
Yeah, I didn't throw up.
Okay.
So I didn't do that. But
Feel free to in our bathroom. It's seen a lot of action like that. Loren's been in there several times.
Stop.
Especially when you were pregnant.
I was just going to say when she's pregnant.
Yes.
Yeah, but
I get that.
there was actually somebody that you spoke to that day that you said like kind of keeps or was in touch with you for a long time.
Yeah. So the caller's name was Amber, and her sister had passed. And I was talking to Amber, and I'm like, oh, your sister's here. She loves you. You know, the usual, like, what you'd think a medium would say, right? So there's that general thing. But then after I hung up with her, I kept seeing the color purple. And I'm like, Prince? And like the whole, Purple Rain? And
Right.
So I don't know if there's a correlation. This is what I have to do. It's like, I'll just put out there what's coming to me, and then it can either fall where it needs to land. But something important about the color purple.
Okay.
Could even be the movie The Color Purple, you know, the Oprah, that
but
whole
we
thing.
didn't talk about that on air. You didn't get the
No.
color
No,
purple
no,
while we
no.
were talking to Amber.
No. It was like,
But it was something that
She
she
hung
was
up.
consistent about, right?
she was, and I felt her. She was so disappointed because not at me, or just because she really wants to be in contact with her sister. So that's why I do what I do, because there's this reassurance that people are, that we're not alone. You know, and there's also this part of our human self that it's like, am I making this up, or is this even
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
It's a weird, it's a lot to push through. After 10 years of doing this, you kind of learn that it's like you just tell people what they need to hear, and it usually makes them cry.
So
Then they need to.
Yeah.
but for you, it's like we haven't gotten back in touch with Amber again.
No.
And what would
But
what would you tell her?
I tell her I love her. Her sister loves her. You know, just to embrace what's around her when she sees the color purple. And you're wearing purple today. That's interesting, isn't
I
it?
know. Charlotte Hornet's purple.
That's right.
And is
yeah.
Amber's sister still, does she still, you said she was like with you for a while. How, like all day?
We went shopping together.
Yeah,
I
I mean-
hear about
Got her
milk
nails
and
done.
groceries.
I mean, like, did you steal
No.
Amber's sister from her?
No, she just delicately came in and was like, hey, I mean, I know she needs to be reassured because her sister, Amber's going through some stuff. Like, I feel this. And so
Yeah.
to hear that from her sister, that her sister's looking out for her, that's the message.
But you don't get that with every caller.
I do to some degree, but not like that. It was like her sister. Sometimes people come in and it's like, yeah, because I have parameters set up. So yes, let me get clear about this. If someone comes in and they continue to kind of pelt at me, and they're very polite, they really are. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to say something, because sometimes I'm hesitant to say things. You know,
I would be.
Yeah, I used to go into the grocery store and get all sorts of information.
Because you're around so many people.
And I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh my God, it was overwhelming that I had to set up a boundary. And I
Just-
talk about that a lot.
I asked Chad, Jessica's
Yeah.
husband, what it's like being married to somebody who's, got the psychic gift. And he starts laughing. And he told a story about how they went on vacation and you guys were sitting at the bar and you went to the bathroom and you were gone for about 15 minutes. And he's like, I know exactly
I was
what
gone
she's
for like
doing.
an hour.
Oh,
Oh
was
my
it an hour?
God.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he goes, I know exactly what she's doing. And then sure enough, you came back. You're like, I just met the most amazing person. And he's like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's one of my favorite stories. I was at a party this past Saturday and someone was asking me, like, how did you know you needed to use this gift? And we have a timeshare in Pensacola and they have a dueling piano bar that we love going to. And Chad and I just sit and hang out, and it's our time together. And so, yes, I went to the bathroom and then I'm washing my hands, and water, again, conductor of that energy. And there's a woman next to me and she's washing her hands and she has her head down a little bit. And all of a sudden this man starts talking. And I'm like, oh dear. And he's not he's up there. And he's like, that's my wife. And I said, oh, okay. So tell me more about this. And he said, just tell her I love her and that it's okay. And I didn't know what he was talking about, right? So
And you hadn't exchanged pleasantries with this woman
not
yet.
at all. She's washing her hands.
You're
It's
literally
so
just standing
awkward.
next to her.
Holy
I mean, it's
shit.
almost as bad as standing next to someone in the urinal, right? Because that's more vulnerable, I suppose. But yeah, I tapped her on the shoulder. I'm like, I'm so sorry. This is so like, I'm invading your space, because I'm very careful about that too. I'm like, your husband is here talking to me. I think he's passed. And she said, yeah. And she starts crying.
Oh, my God.
And he had passed months ago, and she was on a date, and he was telling her it's okay.
Jesus.
Did you get chills?
No, but I mean, I can only imagine, like,
yeah, the grief that
It's like
she was,
Ghost.
the guilt.
right.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure if he had, passed recently, then it's like one of those things too. You go out for the first time and you're like, am I doing the right thing? And,
Yep.
and she's probably struggling with that behind the scenes. And then for him to pop in and run into you is like fate.
What does
Yeah.
she tell the date? Like, Chad's your
I'm sure
husband.
she didn't say anything.
But she was gone for an hour.
Well, Chad asked if I fell in.
Maybe he thought it was not going well at that
Yeah,
point
right?
left.
Right?
Or, that she had,
That's so
she had girly
interesting,
stuff going on. But I think the thing that hit me the hardest was I had doubts in my head about whether or not I should be doing this for so many reasons. You can imagine. People don't understand. They judge. It's scary. All the things.
Yeah.
You watch The Shining and all these other movies where media just blows out of proportion. But she stood up, tears just streaming down her face, and we hugged each other. And she's like, I'm so glad I met you.
Yeah.
And I was like, me too. I could feel it in my heart.
You stay in
because
touch with her?
No.
No.
I mean, it was like I said what I
Yeah.
needed to say, but there was still this symbiosis that you can't. That's real. So many things are just not. That was real, and I needed to hear that. It's not about me. It's about the message for others.
Yeah.
and
Interesting.
that's tricky. So. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jessica. For those of you listening to this, JessicaMangum.com is where you can go and find out information, including where she's going to be on December 7th here in Charlotte. If you're listening to us in the Charlotte area, there's a psychic fair, so you can go check that out. Jessica, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys.